Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Vivid Earth. Today, I've got Amelia Bergman with me, founder of Magnolia Wellness. She's a Prism light healer, and I got to know her through Honeycgolden, and she's just an amazing intuitive healer. And we wanted to chat about all things uh, energetics in terms of what's happening in the body at the moment and out there and how the two are interacting. But I'm going to get Amelia to introduce you to what she actually does so we get a better idea, background as to her experience. Welcome, Amelia. Give us a
Thank
little
you.
intro on Prism Light Healing, what it is that you do.
Yes, it's one of those things that I've been downloading for a long time and it's been morphing over time because I started out with nutrition and natural wellness and it's just expanded so much, especially over the last 5 to 7 years, however long we've been expanding so much. I was guided to call it Prism Light Healing because it's the full spectrum of light healing. When you have one of those beautiful prisms on the window and then it shines rainbows throughout your whole home, however that transmutes. I just always am brought back to that scene in the movie Pollyanna where there were prisms all over all the walls. And so that really stuck with me. So that's probably one of those little nudges that I got from when I was younger. But it's really using pure divine light to cleanse the body and connecting to the other person's higher self. It's like we're looking at the body, mind, soul, spirit, asking what needs to be healed using this pure light. And this is the simplest version I can explain. Um, and then from there, we go into depth of, looking at fractals or emotional healing or um, whatever layers that the body's ready to heal, we use the light to heal and the knowing, the intuition, the guidance, and it's really fun. And I often see a lot of themes in the same week, um, and how we're upgrading as a collective. So a lot of brain healing has been happening and things like that. And our pineal gland is opening up in new ways, and our heart's becoming more of a receiver, and so on and so forth. We can expand on that too, but that's kind of where we're at right now. So,
Mm. Yeah, you're right. I think it happens in like themes and also, as we watch what the Schumann resonance is doing and all the geomagnetic activity around the world, whether that's solar flares or electromagnetic activity coming onto the planet or from the planet, it seems that there are sort of themes and clear chapters of healing and DNA upgrading that's happening through all this activity. So often we'll find that specific activity on the on the Schumann resonance will, like, a lot of people will have headaches. And like you just say, there's been some work done on the brain. I've certainly had headaches, in the last 2 weeks. And then we also just spoke before we started recording, which I'm really interested in, is the atlas bone at the back of the head and how that's being upgraded and how that's linked to our reptilian brain, which is currently morphing, transforming, which is really interesting. So give us your kind of input on that.
absolutely. Well, I've noticed over the last few years, especially like the Atlas bone for me has been doing a lot of shifting. And for years, I would go to the chiropractor a couple times a year, but I've had to go a lot more recently just to help with the shifting and whatever's draining, purging, healing. And so our gateway chakra back there is really helping to facilitate all of that healing. Um, and so, yeah, you might feel a lot of different things happening with that, and you might have more clarity the more that that reptilian brain just dissipates, is just cleared
Calms
out,
down, calming
calms
down,
down.
because that's our
Yes.
fight and flight, right?
Yes, it could be connected to that absolutely because it's definitely a lower vibrational state. And so we're purging everything that's no longer serving us. And if it's moving through the gateway chakra, just nurture that and support that. And I was just saying how I like to sometimes let the sunshine hit that spot just to help with extra boosting, clearing. I use a lot of essential oils too, so that helps just keep the flow open, just so we don't get anything stuck. But I also believe we have an infinite amount of chakras, and so they're all working together to expand right now, and that's one of them. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, often in Chinese medicine, you'll hear people say, "Oh, the chakras are like a little bit like not outdated, but limited because they believe, well, they don't believe, but I made the assumption actually because acupuncture point, you've got little vortexes all around the body, and that these are actually like mini chakras, and they are often as important or even more to align and keep in balance than the main chakras that we know, which is the seven. And obviously there are chakras above and below us as well. So it's all part of our energy field, that huge toroidal field of energy that
Yes,
is actually who we are. We are that being, not this physical avatar. We're so much bigger and more than that, right?
so much bigger. Yes, sometimes I have to rein in my energy just to keep it from, you know, just being out there too far in the world. But and you said something too. I was going to piggyback on, and I
The
lost it.
chakra or the little acupuncture point and vortexes in the body, maybe.
Right, right. The meridians too, with the Chinese medicine and acupuncture points, those are expanding, and I see them integrating more with the chakras right now. So everyone's, processing these things at different layers and different times as they are able to. But it's interesting because I've done some work with the meridians with some of the allergy clearing I've done in the past. And I just see them like just expanding instead of just being like the thin little lines that we have been presented with. And so it's amazing. It's just really everything's coming online in an amazing way.
Mm. Yeah,
So,
and we know the acupuncture points also move around sometimes. So, people that have been very technically trained and not necessarily having that intuitive touch, they might even miss the points at times. So it's very important to have that intuitive layer to your to the healing process because sometimes, yeah, even the acupuncture point moves around either temporarily or permanently, depending on, the state of the body, which I find
right.
interesting. Um,
That's one thing I check with people too. I want to make sure their polarity is in balance and their assemblage point is in the right spot. Because that one I see has moved, as a result of often trauma and things like that. And then once we get everything back in flow, then they start to heal in new ways. So that's amazing. We
Very
adapt.
exciting.
We adapt.
Yeah, I mean, everything is kind of morphing and transforming at the moment because essentially we are going from carbon-based beings to crystalline, and we're kind of in
Mhm.
that mulch process right now. We're not quite carbon anymore. We're not crystalline quite yet, or maybe we are. We don't even realize it, but certainly in higher realms we are. So it's all about
Yes,
a shifting of perception and how we shift from the very dense kind of level of perception and can perceive more and then so also be more.
absolutely. Yeah, that's a hard concept, I think, for a lot of people to grasp is how we're becoming crystalline. And I saw it coming in layers, so it was not overwhelming for the body, but it's just amazing. And the perception, like you said, I think that's huge because the more that we really believe that and embody that, then it's going to start to shift so much faster. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all about our perception, what we believe is possible.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of people say this is a simulation, which I kind of believe as well, but a lot of people have a hard time with that. You mean all of this is just a simulation? I'm suffering for nothing. I can just, press a button and go a level up.
Right. Right.
But it is a learning school, right? We signed up for it.
Yes, I have to remind myself of that. Yes, I chose this body and this lifetime, and I chose my family, and I chose the house I'm currently living in, and all of the things. And some days I go, why did I choose that? You know,
Remind me. It's like, high self, remind me, why did we choose that? Because it sucks.
yes, right? Like, why is this thing still lingering on when the rest of me feels like I'm in this other beautiful realm? And so it's all coming together. It's all coming online, but it's quite a process.
Mm. I'm really feeling like a lot of us have one foot in the 3D and one in the 5D at the moment. We're kind of straddling the two. And then, they also speak about yo-yo beings, like literally we are between one and the other, and we become kind of the bridge from one to the other for a lot of other people as well. So it's not
Yes.
always a fun process, but you know, we came here with this mission and we are succeeding. That's the good news. We are on the precipice of great change on this planet. And we have to keep reminding ourselves when we get tired and exhausted that we've come this far. We've come so far, in fact. And
Mhm.
we're on the precipice of massive change on the planet, which is very exciting.
It is. Yeah, it's every moment there's something new and there's new people awakening, new layers that are showing us what we can grab onto for expansion, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
Mm,
I love what Honey said in one of her recent videos, how we've been really healing the last 5 years of our experience. And that really resonated with me because we've been through so much in the last 5 years alone. Before that, life
yeah.
was kind of business as usual-ish. You know, people didn't like all the mundane things, all the things that we had to do supposedly to exist in this world. And now we're really resetting, and it's beautiful.
It is. Gosh, I just feel so much more alive. Like I've opened the door to another world in the last 5 years that have just like expanded my view of reality. It's just been, I think it's awesome for a lot of people, but obviously a lot of people get tired as well. Can we get this movie over with and move along to 5D now?
Yes, my human self is very patient, and then my soul's like, can we get a move on? Like, we know what's coming. Let's just bring it all into fruition right now and just experience it all in real time. So,
Mm, yeah.
yeah, what sort of gifts have been activating for you throughout this process with all the DNA upgrades we've been experiencing?
Yeah, I think definitely a lot more downloads and clear cognizance. That seems to be more my thing.
Hmm.
I just know stuff and I don't know how I know it. And then,
Yeah.
you first you doubt yourself, no, but then you get proven right by others confirming the same thing. And that gives one confidence, as that whatever gifts come more online. So I've been finding that and just like a subtle remembrance and
Hmm.
of who I am and who I am as a bigger being and other experiences in other realities and other lives. And that's been fascinating. And um, I think just a much bigger realization of how it all fits together
Hmm.
beyond this small keyhole that we're looking through in this reality. Like there's so much more out there. And it's kind of just a clear cognizance of reality. And also a lot of kind of, you know, childhood memories that are coming online where I realized that, I had those gifts in childhood that I kind of just were forced to switch off because, they make fun of you if you have a too vivid imagination as a child. And then they kind of beat that out of you in a way. I remember in school, often I would just be staring out of the window. And in fact, it wasn't just daydreaming. I was physically not even there because they would call out my name and I would like hear nothing. They would have to come and tap me on the shoulder, and I'm like, okay, I'm back in the body now. And those little memories have come online, and I was like astral traveling as a child that I didn't only
Hmm.
realizing now that I was.
Right. I had no idea I was doing that all the time. Yeah, and I used my favorite one was I used to just hear like some people's thoughts, just like the last few words of a thought. And since I was probably a teenager, and then they would say something, and I said, "Oh, I was thinking the same thing." I didn't realize that it wasn't my own thought that I
Oh,
was
wow.
perceiving. And I still do that, mostly with like my older daughter and a few people, but I don't like consciously try to read people's thoughts. I just pick up little words here and there. So that one's really interesting to me.
Yeah. Telepathy, that's definitely come online
Hmm.
with more and more. Um, yeah, I would just like it with my husband, I would just say, do you know what I'm thinking right now? And they would say exactly what I was thinking, or vice versa. It's like, wow, okay.
That's beautiful.
We can just like reach into the quantum field and merge with another person's consciousness and know exactly what they're feeling, which is an
Hmm.
interesting description that I heard some people talk about. Like, what is telepathy really? How does it work? And
Hmm.
that's really what it is. Like, you're reaching outside of yourself because it's all in this quantum soup, this quantum field, right? And if
Hmm.
you can reach into that field, you can actually kind of merge with another's thoughts and know what they're thinking or feeling. And I
Yes.
think this is going to come online more and more for us. But we also have to be mature enough to be able to do that, because once you can fully read others' thoughts and they can read yours, you got to be ready for that.
Right.
There's no
Right.
secrets anymore.
Exactly. I've used this, gift, excuse me,
Hmm.
with my dog. I've had to have conversations with him at the soul level to stop certain behaviors, like using my bedroom carpet as a bathroom, things like that. And that's the only thing that worked. Nothing else worked, when it came to making him understand that's not what we do. But I had to have that conversation with his higher self. And um and that switched it off almost immediately. So um yeah, just what the things that we are capable of. Animals are a little easier to communicate with. They've got fewer human, blockages, I suppose.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, it's really up to you to reach out, because they can probably do it already in a
mhm,
way. They can sense the energy. They can kind of, they don't talk in words, but they talk in
mhm.
concepts and thoughts and, you know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. So you can talk to a dog's higher self and say, why are you doing this? And maybe there's a reason. He's trying to get your attention or something, trying to communicate
Hmm.
something with you. I remember my cat was doing that when I started dating my husband. He started just weeing everywhere. It was like, okay, it's like, and he's like, he felt a little bit threatened because now he didn't have me all for himself anymore.
Yep.
So he had to get used to that, but he was like trying to mark his territory. Oh dear. And we're chatting about the sun as well, how important sun gazing is, and we're going to
Mhm.
jump into that really from a more sort of technical point of view. But I think it's interesting. The sun gazing is not just the sun, and yes, you're going to talk more about amino acids and things like that, but it's almost like our sun is really a portal, right? And um, so it's really like light codes coming through the sun, not from the sun in a way, right?
Hmm.
It's a portal to other realms, to the galactic sun, to the galactic center. So, it's like really trying to understand what this mechanism is, because light is information. Currently, we're in a very photon rich part of the photon belt as part of our cycle, 26,000 year cycle, which is why we're actually
Hmm.
moving into the age of enlightenment, the Aquarian age, the golden age, whatever you want to call it, out of the um, Kali Yuga, out of the Iron Age or the Dark Ages, where simply there wasn't that much light. So it was very difficult for the planet and the beings on it to reach into higher realms because the light wasn't present. Now we've like flooded with light, and a lot of that light is coming through the galactic center, through the galactic sun and our sun as a portal, and downloading codes into our bodies that we don't always physically understand, but our body does, and it does the work that it needs to. And then, hence, gifts coming online, remembrance of who we really are,
Mhm.
all of these things coming through. And like I said to you, sometimes I close my eyes when I do sun gazing, and I can kind of, it's almost like on my eyelids, I can read little codes coming through, coming in, which is really cool. And I only realized it the other day, and it's been happening for years, but now I really understand what that is. But so yeah, keen to your thoughts on that, and then also on the more sort of biological level in terms of what the body needs and for healing and that as well.
Yes, I've been, recommending sunshine for pretty much all of my clients too. When we do sessions, one in particular, he was not feeling well, and so I was like, "What can I do?" I said, "Well, get in the sun as much as you can today." And he's like, "I spent 45 minutes outside, and I felt almost completely better after just laying in the sunshine." And And yeah, it's really important at the beginning and the end of the day to get the sunshine into the eyes to activate different um, functions and processes in the body, especially amino acid production, since we don't produce all the amino acids in our bodies. Like tryptophan is one of them, and if you're deficient in tryptophan, then you're not producing enough melatonin for proper sleep and healing and repair. So an easy fix is just to go out and make sure your eyes are looking as much towards the sun as possible without hurting yourself, of course. Don't overdo it like some people might. So, um, and just allow for that light to enter. And it's funny that you mentioned codes too, because I almost forgot to mention it. But I was some of the downloads I've been receiving, usually during client sessions, and then it expands from there. I'm calling them ascension codes, and they're all connected to help us move through this ascension process. So there's 33 of them. I'm in the process of creating an ebook, but that takes me a lot of time. I'm not super fast on making a
Mm,
really gorgeous ebook. But there's different ones, and they're just numbers to help you activate different codes in the body. So using that in conjunction with sunlight, with your meditation or journaling, or you can write them down on pieces of paper and just program different parts of you, or sleep with it under your pillow, or put it under your water,
mm,
just to help. It's just like a little boost for everything. Like everything's happening for us anyway. But if we can consciously open up those little code portals is the word I'm hearing, to be fully activated so we can come online. I mean, it's just amazing. It's amazing.
that's so cool. Yeah, I've been hearing that you've been sharing these on YouTube and
Hmm.
TikTok almost
Yep.
every day.
Yep, I'll do little mini healings, and then I do have some of the ascension codes, most of them. I have a few more to put onto YouTube and TikTok, but they're all out there. So, and then I'll just create a little handbook to go with them. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's very cool. I really like that. And I think, once we realize our entire reality is made up out of secret geometry, codes, light, sound, vibration. So all
Hmm.
of these things can actually help you not only, raising your vibration, coming more online as an energy being, also healing and, the
Hmm.
ascension process. So yeah, putting a little code under your glass of water, people think, oh, what does that do? Well, it's coding, it's sacred geometry. That's how
Hmm.
everything is communicated within this realm, like that. And there's been a lot of like inversion also of our sacred geometry, which I believe we're taking back. Things like they call it the daisy of death, which is people think it's the flower of life, which we're looking more at, it should be the lotus of life, which is a continuous spiral, not a separated, separated circles, which keeps us in separation.
Right.
um, and things like the Fibonacci sequence, which again just keeps, it doesn't, it kind of consumes its own energy, and that's kind of the state they wanted us in, right? But when you look at more the kind of the sacred spiral, keeps spiraling up and it keeps evolving, which is what we are doing. um, and when you start looking at it, so much of our spiritual world has been infiltrated, the New Age movement for sure. But I believe I'm not feeling, fearful about that, because I feel like we're taking all of those things back. We
Yes.
are taking them back, we're claiming them back, we're claiming the numbers that are so-called bad, like 666. We're
Hmm.
claiming all of those things back, and it's about intention. It's not about feeling paranoid about, oh, if I use that number, or if I see that number, something bad is going to happen to me. No,
Right.
it's about intention, and actually, the light wins at the end of the day. So whatever plans they had kind of just
Mhm.
failed and were turned into something good anyway.
Absolutely. We're bringing online the divine blueprint of who we are, and it's merging all parts of us in this realm, body, mind, soul, spirit, and allowing fractals to come in that haven't been with us for a long time to help with those activations. And just, oh, it's so vast and it's so amazing, and so much is happening just when we're sleeping or when the Schumann resonance is going off, and you just need to stop what you're doing and take a nap. There's so many things, and we're detoxing, healing our bodies. I mean, that's been the slowest part of the process. It's easy for our souls to just continue to do all the amazing things with the light body energies, but our bodies are just trying to catch up, and they're doing a great job.
Yeah. This is, we're going through an embodied ascension, so it's not escaping the body. We're doing it through the body, and the body must become a very clear, coherent vehicle of this high energy. And the high energy is sometimes, well, at this stage, still somewhat in dissonance, which is why the body is going through all these upgrades, why we need to get rid of densities within the body so that we can house more of the soul in the body, call more of those fractals back, like you said, which sometimes gets fractured out because of trauma and all of these things that we experience either in this lifetime or previous lifetimes, or sometimes even through the ancestral line, right? Traumas come through the ancestral line and we don't even know what it is, but we're the ones transmuting it often for the bloodline, so it can be a tough thing on the body, and I
Yeah.
I sometimes just walk into a store, like I was in the hardware store earlier, and it's like not my favorite place, but anyway, the people, they were really nice and they always chat to me, but I can see people are exhausted, even people that have no idea what's going on, they just look exhausted, and those are not NPCs. I can see they have souls, but they obviously don't know what's going on. And
Right.
it must be even more tough for those people. Like, they're also getting upgrades. We forget it's not only us that are aware of it. There's a lot of people
Mhm.
that are completely unaware, and they're also getting upgrades, and they're feeling it in their body, and they're exhausted. And so I think sometimes I feel sorry for those people. At least we know what's going on.
I know it's very nice to be aware, because if not, I think, like I hear all the time, I'm not going crazy, right? This is not me going crazy. No, you're just ascending, and it feels like it can be crazy, especially when you're receiving new information and all these downloads that don't make sense with the old world. Everything is making sense with the new world coming in and that we're creating and building. And and I hear all the time, you're the only one I can talk to about this. I don't know if it's because nothing is weird to me anymore or what. It's like eventually all of us will be able to talk about all of these things, whether it be like the conspiracies or the DNA upgrades or, ascension process itself. Because I have a friend, I can see she's ascending, and I can only say so much before she just looks at me and goes, I don't know, you just see that the look changes on her face, and because she's like a lot in the religious world too, which, has some things that we have to let go of as well, some programming, and so it's just really interesting. Or another one of my friends who's actually soul family, and connected with her when like I was friends with her daughter back in the day, and she's like, it took me a really long time to come to terms with the fact that there are other beings in our universe, because she's very, again, religious, but um, it's really cool to see the awakening that she can still have that concept of source, creator energy, and have that acknowledgement. Yes, there are other beings in our
Mm.
universe, ETs and whatnot. So it's amazing to see different progression with the people in our
Mm.
lives.
Yeah, it is amazing to see people starting to open their minds and they don't know why necessarily or what's happening, but they just feel a calling to,
Hmm.
you know, look into certain subjects that they wouldn't have looked in before. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, I think we forget. You don't. There are people that, as you say, are ascending, but they don't even know it. They are
Hmm.
because they are good people. They are self-aware.
Hmm.
They are positive beings with a, fire, fire in their belly, fire soul. Um, and there's a lot of people that then intellectually will wake up to that at some point as well. But the body is already starting to focus, the mind and the soul already aligning. But
Hmm.
intellectually, they haven't caught up with what's actually happening to them. And that is interesting to see. Like at some point, they will really like just know, okay, this
Hmm.
is what's going on. So it is nice to see. It is, yeah, it's beautiful to see and realize they don't need to know all the details that we know necessarily. It's okay. At some point, they will let go of the programs that they need to, whether it's religious constructs or simply not believing in aliens or whatever it is, not
Hmm.
believing in the unseen world or,
Hmm.
and we just kind of quantum leaping forward. And the more people come online, the more that kind of just permeates the quantum field. And other people will suddenly just have a knowing and they'll suddenly just know. Or
Hmm.
people will become more spiritual without even realizing that they are or why it's
Hmm.
happening. It's just
Right.
like this quantum soup is evolving and the people in it as well.
I love that quantum soup. I love that. It's a cool metaphor because it's true. That's how it kind of looks sometimes when I'm, tuning into the energies. But and I love that, even though I myself have been an extreme introvert most of my life, maybe not extreme, but and the fact that many of us have been guided to do YouTube channels because when we do these sorts of conversation, it activates more people or more
Mm,
layers within a person so they can hear the information, and then it upgrades more and more and more. It's just so expansive beyond that. So I love
yeah.
this.
And even beyond that, even beyond the words that we speak, our
Hmm.
voice carries codes as well, and it can
Hmm.
actually activate someone. So even though they don't quite understand what it is that you're saying, or they're like, oh, what are they talking about? But hearing just the sound of the voice can activate a person. It's amazing how there's codes in the sound as well. And then I've had so many people say to me, yeah, your voice, just when you speak, I just feel like I'm activated. And that is a really interesting concept to think about that we seldom are actually aware of. It's not
Hmm.
always the content of the word that you speak, but the vibration of it, which is so cool.
Yes, it is. That's one of the biggest rules I've had in my household with me and my two daughters is like speak life, because teenagers, they say things that are, they think are just off the cuff, like, oh, it's killing me. I'm like, well, it's literally not. But the
Yeah.
more you say that, then your body will start to believe you. So speak life into your
Hmm.
body, into other people, and that's not how teenagers typically are. So we really have to work hard at it here because I won't allow it. So and so it is. It's like I speak life over everything, even if I start to like dip down in my energy, nope, okay, where can I find gratitude? in this moment to bring my vibration back up to where it needs to be. Or even, it's been an intense energy day, or we've been activated by more light codes today. So, how can I raise the frequency capacity of my body to allow for more light codes, more healing, more expansion to come in a kind and gentle way? Of course, we don't want to blast it in too hard at one time because then we can sleep for a couple days. But yeah, I think that's really important to look at as well, how we're speaking to ourselves and to others.
Mm. And I hope one day, well, I think, I mean, we will start speaking a different language because English is, it's designed actually with double meaning. So a lot of the words that we use have double meaning, and that's part of the spell or the spelling
Mhm,
that, the Cabal designed for this language. And if one day we can start speaking more in phonetic sounds, I guess like a more like a light language where
mhm.
there's perhaps not you're not speaking in words, but you see speaking in concepts, which funny enough, if you look at the Chinese language, they're more
Oops, I can't hear
French.
you. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can. You just blipped out for a minute.
Okay. It's kind of similar when you look at the Chinese language. If you look at the symbols, one
Mhm.
symbol can mean a whole kind of sentence or concept. It's not just one word. Um,
Wow.
So hopefully one day we can, well, I mean, there's going to be telepathy, but when we do
Yeah.
speak, it will be kind of light language, which is like
Mhm.
one little word can contain an entire kind of sentence or concept in a way. That's why
Yes.
that's why in Chinese it's quite difficult, like Mandarin, to translate it because there often aren't words to translate what certain things
Mhm.
mean because it's not necessarily one word. When you see one Chinese symbol, it's like a whole concept. It's not just the word. It can be like an entire little wisdom teaching, like life is, what you make of it. But it's one
Mhm.
symbol. So yeah, just something interesting that just came up. It's amazing. I'm so looking forward to seeing how language is going to evolve. And I don't know why it's so
Yes.
noisy here, so I'm going to mute myself and then you can talk around that.
Okay. Well, I was going to say too that sometimes when I'm tuning into maybe another lifetime, a past life, or an experience, or when I'm connecting with other souls that I've known in other lifetimes, I was hearing like a different name for a certain being. And the way I would describe it was sounds as represented. How did I say it? I can't remember how I said it, but it's more like just a combination of sounds that represent as a word, sort of, um, that represents their energy, their being, their soul energy. So I'm not doing a good job of explaining it, but yeah.
No, I get what you're saying. So we communicate in sounds and concepts. It's almost like you
Mhm,
see a picture and the one sound represents that picture.
mhm.
So we don't have to have a whole sentence with millions of words and,
Yeah.
fancy language to communicate it. It's like a pocket
Mhm.
of information that we communicate via a sound. And I guess,
Yes,
isn't that what light language in a way maybe is?
I would think so. That would make sense. Yeah, and
Yeah.
different versions of that, and different origins, and how it's changed over our existence. It's so vast. I don't think we have barely even scratched the surface of what that means. So
Mm.
that's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the other thing that's really interesting right now, people are more and more wanting to spend time on finding out what their soul mission is or
Hmm.
what their soul origin is, what they're here to do, what they're here to learn, parallel lives. And it's interesting how more of that kind of is coming online as well, because when you start asking those questions, often the answers will come.
Hmm.
Your higher self is just waiting for you to ask the questions. A lot of people say, but I want to know this, I want to know that. But have you asked your higher self?
Right.
Often there's like, oops, no, I didn't ask. Well, you have to ask because it's a free will planet. You,
Yep.
you don't ask, you don't receive.
Right. And often it's been a progression of things. I look back at my own life, and every step throughout my life has led me to this point. So, in finding the purpose, you may not be just jolted or shoved right into it. You may have one or two or 20 steps to get there. Maybe there's small steps. Maybe you need to sit with one aspect of yourself to really develop that before you find that true purpose, that divine purpose in this time. So
Yeah.
it's all part of it.
There's no experience that we are having in our lives or that we've had in our lives that are by accident. Often you think like, wow, I did this job for like 10 years, and how
Hmm.
did it actually contribute to my life? I have no idea because now I'm doing something completely different. There'll be a
Hmm.
point where it all makes sense. It all just fits together like a puzzle. You needed to learn a certain skill because you're going to
Hmm.
combine that with gifts and other abilities in some point in your life, and it's going to become your thing, your mission, or at least one of your missions, which I find quite fascinating as well. And especially with somebody like you that is in healing also, I find a lot of healers are having to go through some major health challenges at some point in their
Hmm.
lives,
Hmm.
because how are they going to heal people when they've never had a health challenge? Like,
Yes.
how will that person that's healing you be able to relate to what you're going through?
Hmm.
Would you say that kind of rings true as well?
Absolutely. I mean, my whole life I've had various health challenges. I've had the strangest autoimmune diagnoses, one called Henoch-Schönlein purpura. No one's ever heard of that. But when
Wow.
I was 8, I couldn't even walk, basically. I mean,
Wow.
and then it's a whole thing, but I've healed them all, thankfully. But then I've also had major adrenal fatigue with being in a toxic marriage for too long, and also being an empath in the world too. I just felt everything, and I didn't realize I was holding on to a lot of other people's energies too. So it was the
Mhm.
culmination. So I've done so much healing work, and I feel better than I did, maybe even before having kids, because I feel more alive and I feel like my body's working better, it's detoxing better. Um, just so many different layers of that. And combined with my experiences of wanting to be a teacher, I was a teacher for 10 years. And even before that in college, I decided to major in history and education. So I even wrote my senior paper on the concept of eugenics, which now is relevant to
Oh, wow.
some of the things we were dealing with today. So back in the 90s and early 2000s, like I had that awareness, and then all the hidden history, of course, and how that relates to what they taught us. Because I would, as an intuitive, I was like, squinting, going, I don't think that's exactly right. So, but I didn't know
Yeah.
why. I didn't know why I was feeling all those things, but now I do. So, yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing how all these things just lead to something else that's going to help you at some point in your mission. So, people are wondering, like, why did I have to go through that, or work at that place, or do this job, or whatever? If it's not making sense now, it will at some point. So,
yeah.
just trust in the divine unfolding of your life. At some point, everything will fall together. And I think
Hmm.
also what a lot of people need to realize is that um, some people's missions unfold later in life.
Yeah.
This is not a competition, it's not a race.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to compare you to anyone else. If you see this person doing that and they're doing such amazing things and they like on YouTube and they like this guru, and why can I be that person?
Hmm.
It, your gift will unfold in divine timing when the time is right, and it will be so needed at that point,
Hmm.
and be so programmed in this 3D of performance and competition and survival of the fittest. That it's
Hmm.
difficult to break out of that, but people just need to realize, some people only in their 70s like go into the peak of their, not their career but their life mission.
Hmm.
Then they discover, oh my God, this is my gift. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm supposed to impart with the world. Others don't wake up until much later in life because they were not meant to.
Yep.
It wasn't the right time for them to awaken. They needed to awaken when the world was at a certain stage of development. So everyone is different. Everyone has a different mission. Everyone have a different
Hmm.
combination of gifts. So I think people just need to trust, in the divine, in the divine blueprint of your life and how it's going to
Hmm.
unfold and how it is unfolding, and just have less of a need to control everything in your life and like
Hmm.
force yourself in a certain direction because I need to get going now. I need to be in my mission. Just be. Why don't you just
Yeah.
experience being, and you'll see how things just naturally unfold. Just surrender to
Yes.
the energies.
Yep, surrender to allow. It's like once we let go, then it all starts flowing in, whether it be fast or slow, it doesn't matter. We just allow it in, and it does find us. So what is meant to be will always be, even if we have to take a few twists and turns, especially if we're still trying to control things, like you said. But control is an absolute illusion. So, because it can be
Yeah.
switched at any moment. So,
Yeah, we
yeah,
really have no control. The only thing we have a control over is how we respond in every moment.
yeah,
What choices we make in every moment. We're
absolutely.
choosing the positive side of the moment, or the lower shadow side of the moment.
Hmm.
Are you grateful, or are you just complaining day in and day out? You're going to get more to complain about anyway. So you
Hmm.
might as well try some gratitude and see where it takes you. Experiment with it.
Yes. Yeah, there's some really easy ways to switch your frequency too. Just say everything works out for me. It's one of those old saying I think that Abraham Hicks would always say, everything works out for me. Maybe even Louise Hay, some of the forerunners of all this work that we're doing now, just and then just settle in that. So if you're just feeling stressed or like you don't know which direction to go, just sit and just focus on that. It's all working out. Just allow it in. And it changes your frequency so fast.
Mm, yeah,
So,
that's very good advice. Absolutely. So yeah, people need to relax a little bit, give themselves some grace,
mhm,
rest, eat well,
yeah.
stop worrying about everything. There's about 20,000 thoughts we have a day, that we have day in and day out. We have the same
Mhm,
thoughts as we had yesterday. Like,
yeah.
just rein that wild horse in and don't let your mind, lead you by the nose. Rather use it as the tool that it's meant to be, to work for you, not to be in charge of
Yep.
everything. The mind is just a machine, a tool that you use to navigate the world around you.
Yes. Yes. And yeah, it's a process to go through just letting go and instead of like the spinning thoughts of what if this, what if that, and what about this? And I've got this long list of this to do and this and this. No. Okay, sometimes I just have to go, okay, what's next today? All right. I just sit and meditate for a moment. Okay. Then I just do it. What's next? I go to the grocery store. Okay, go do that. So some days I can let that roll just easily. Of course, with children, I have to be a little bit more scheduled, but otherwise I just try to live in this now moment and let everything else fall away because it's not meant to cause stress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
which is often where I find myself just floating in the now moment, and then I realize, oh, what's the time? What day is it? I don't know what day. Look at my calendar. It's like
yeah, yeah,
it's hard sometimes to navigate the two worlds.
yes,
But I think also, a lot of people that are still very science focused need to realize there's a lot that's happening at the moment that cannot be explained by science. So it's
hmm,
really just embracing the unknown and trusting your intuition, that whatever is happening to you is, you're not imagining it. You're not, um, there's nothing wrong with you. And you don't have to go and find it in a white paper somewhere. It
right,
is, start trusting your intuition and
yeah,
finding the clues to the unseen that is influencing our
hmm,
world at the moment, and it's going to all make a lot more sense. We can see that with a Schumann resonance. Often there's a blackout or a whiteout. Can't be
hmm.
explained. Why? Oh, the machine's malfunctioned. No, it didn't malfunction.
Yeah.
It's just that I can't read the energy. So we're going through unprecedented times at the moment, and certainly in terms of just the Schumann activity, we've never seen that. Like this year, what we've experienced, like week after week after week, we
Yep.
sometimes get a few days off. It's
I
like,
know.
okay, we'll give you a break for 2, 3 days, but then we've got to keep moving, guys, because this ascension needs to happen. And I feel like I just feel like, oh, I'm feeling good today. And like the next minute, the next day you wake up with this
Hmm.
headache or something. So really we've been
Yes.
pummeled with so much activity, and this year's been unlike any other year before it.
Yeah,
And I think it's just gonna keep going until we push ourselves through that ascension portal.
it is. It is. And I always see, kind of a divine switch over of energies, whatever that means, whether it's like a partial flash energy or just,
Mm,
I just see you as finally being pushed through all of those remaining layers. And
yeah,
I'm just so excited for that. So, um, yeah,
yeah,
it's a lot. And you guys are doing amazing work. And so I always recommend find the support you need to get through it. You don't have to go it alone.
mm,
Not everyone's going to understand what you're going through either, but just find support if you need to, whether it be in a community or with friends or family or healers. Um, it's really important not to just isolate yourself too. So,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so we're also blessed to have this online world at the moment, and so many people that we can
mhm,
connect with. There's so many different communities and um, you know, healing circles and
mhm,
ascension programs that you just need to feel like what feels right for you, what you resonate with, who your soul tribe is. There is support waiting. Nobody has to do this alone,
yes.
you know. And many of us find ourselves in situations where our families don't understand what the hell is going on. They're not seeing what
Mhm,
we are seeing. They're certainly not feeling what we're feeling. And you find yourself very alone. You don't know who to speak to, but there are so
mhm.
many people online. I mean, the people just listening to this now. I've got a community, the Vivid Earth 5D community. We connect every second Sunday. You doing a lot of healing stuff. You also have
Mhm.
some courses on Honey's site, right? That you do with her,
I
some
do.
workshops and things. So
Hmm.
there's so many things people can do to help them through this period and to feel like they're part of a community,
Hmm.
um, that you just have to look and you'll find
Yeah.
for sure.
I have a community as well. It's still small, but it's more focused on the healing aspect and also just understanding yourself as an empath being. So we do healings and meditations and other type work in there. So
That's
yeah.
beautiful. We'll put all the links below so you guys know where to find Amelia as well and my group. So all of it will be in the show notes so you can go and
Hmm.
check it out if you're looking
Hmm.
for community. And I find that, yeah, on the one hand, so many people are having communities at the moment. On the other hand, there are so many different people that resonate with different energies and different
Yes,
people that it's okay. It's not a one size fit all,
exactly.
You've got to find your tribe who you kind of resonate with,
Hmm.
and that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how we're finding each other, whether you're in one community, none or five, or you maybe you have five different healers you work with because they all come at it from different perspectives. That's fun. I like to have confirmation too of some of the things. I'm like, am I seeing this right? Especially when it's close to home. And so we all need to reach out and just ask for support where it's needed, and just enjoy the ride too. So,
Yeah. Trust your body, trust your soul, trust your higher self. It will
mhm,
get you there one way or another. So all will be well in the end. All will work out. And believe everything will work out for your highest good, for your
mhm.
you the most beneficial outcome will come to you. Just believe that. And
Yes, it
that's what
will.
will happen.
Yep. Yes, and I'll just I don't know if we're ending now. I just want to just let everyone know that you are safe. You are safe where you are, and no matter what is going on around you or within you, just remind your body, mind, soul, spirit that you are safe and ask for your angels, guides, Mother Earth, any beings around you to help comfort you if you are feeling, especially, late at night when people can tend to wake up and feel off or whatnot. Just remind yourself that you are safe and you've got this. So,
Absolutely. And that's so important, because if you don't feel safe, it's very difficult to reach into the higher realms. Um, because it's directly related to your first chakra, and you've got to make sure those are stable. The first three are stable in order to activate the higher ones that are going to be
mhm.
connecting to the higher realms. So yeah, know that you are always safe. Fear is just a false evidence appearing real, as they say.
Yes, I love that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was awesome. Thank you, Amelia, and for all the work that you do helping people through this ascension process, healing. Um, yeah, it's amazing also being in the same group now. We are with Life Wave, so it's great to get
Hmm.
your input on that, which is an amazing tool as well during this time.
It
Crystal
is.
patches that just reflect your own body's light back at you. So you don't have to bombard your body with all sorts of supplements and things that you're putting in, rather
Hmm.
activating your body's own healing intelligence and activating those stem cells so that you know, the body can heal itself. So I find
Yes.
that the most natural and most amazing healing technology at the moment, which is kind of, a bridge for many people to the med beds and
Hmm.
ultimately self-healing, self-regulating, but it's an amazing tool. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll leave the links for LifeWave below as well. And Amelia's always there to answer questions if need be. And then Debbie in the group is great, for um, asking, helping more with the technical stuff. And if you want to become like a preferred customer or a business
Hmm.
partner, which you can create your own 5D business. There's various people. Honey is in that group as well. So we're a nice little family.
Yes.
So just if you want to look at that. And otherwise, guys, just rest, eat well, relax your nervous system as much as possible. Give yourself a little bit of a break. You don't always have to keep pushing and keep going. In fact, it's not the best thing to do at all. So whenever you can, just take life easy at the moment, and we will all get there. Literally, we will all get there. So
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Yeah, I've been really leaning on my life wave a lot this week, um just to give myself a boost and get through these big energies. It's been so helpful. So yeah, use all your tools that you have. It's so, so helpful.
absolutely. Wonderful. Okay, everyone. That was great discussion, Amelia, and look forward to the next one. And I hope everyone has an awesome weekend, and we'll see you on the other side.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Amelia.
Bye.